What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight yet again. It's been a few days. A lot has come out with this game. We got 31 minutes of gameplay from IGN. We've seen a bunch of different stuff. There's been kind of teases as to who could and could not be in this game. We've also just kind of had time to breathe, right? And may I just say, I think this was kind of clear when this was first announced, but 2 days later, I think looking back, this was like the biggest thing of Gamescom. And by the way, did I or did I not call that a few days before? I really thought this could be the biggest thing of Gamescom, and I really think I think in terms of like pure metrics, like maybe Black Myth getting a sequel or a second game, let's say, I think that's pretty huge. But this has all the buzz in the world, and it's not just, by the way, it's not just because people are saying things about it, it's because it looks freaking amazing. And there's a big difference, people just saying things just because WB Games is back, we're getting a Lego game, we're getting a Batman game. That would be one thing, and part of that's true, actually a lot of that's true, but for that to happen, and then also for it to just look unbelievably good, that's something that we could only kind of hope for, right? Like, I wanted this thing about this Batman, taking everything that we love about his entire history of games, comics, movies, all that stuff, and throwing it together in a game. I wanted that to be possible. I thought that if they did it, it was going to be cool. But I mean, for them to now look, the game's not out yet, but like, we've seen an okay amount at this point. I mean, I'm easily willing to say, like, this is a day one buy for me right now. I don't know about you guys. You can let me know in the comments, but this is really, I think we were saying this 2 days ago, but I think we can very much say it now. This is like the next honorary Arkham game. You look at specifically the IGN gameplay, and I mean, you got him hunting people from like freaking gargoyles. You have stealth takedowns. You have, look, in the trailer, we saw a bit of the gameplay, and so we saw their own, I think, like hybrid interpretation of the free flow combat, which looked really cool. Now we saw it in action. I mean, out of the first 10 minutes of IGN's footage, a good amount of that is just fighting enemies. And I think it was talked about like there's dozens of takedown animations. I mean, you can also visually see that they don't get repeated all that often. Again, there's kind of like the grapple takedowns where you're using like the grapple hook, you're flying a little bit, and then you kind of swoop down and take them out. We've seen traversal. I would say we've seen like cape or gliding traversal quite a bit. We've had a little bit of a look at like the vehicles, and they kind of match what we've heard or what we saw, I guess, on their website. But I think there was somebody on Twitter had posted there's like an 8-second clip going on of like the Batmobile of just it kind of, I think, like spinning out and then it driving straight. I think one of the comments was like it has no right. A Lego game has no right to have like driving that good. And I mean, it just feels like Arkham. It feels like this is the next Arkham game, whether you want to ride a vehicle, whether you want to just kind of, I mean, it even has like, doing the grapple and then like gaining momentum from that and being able to like go faster because of that. It even has that. Like, it has basically everything. And then, one thing kind of separate from this whole like Arkham stuff, the one thing that I think you can take away, even story-wise, with this gameplay of IGN's is we can start to, I think, kind of see how they're going to do it. And again, they talked about it a little bit, but it's one thing to say it, one thing to show it, and, actually do it. So what it feels like to me is they're going to take big moments that we've seen before, and the trailer, showed many of those off. And then they're going to really just build missions, I think, around it, which, in the beginning of this is them searching for a teddy bear. You're analyzing like DNA. But at the end, you get like a Joker callback line, dancing in the pale moonlight, like all, and so you're taking, and I think, again, based off the trailer, like you got the Penguin, like car chase, right? So I think there's going to be these big moments, the Bane speech from Dark Knight Rises, like that, maybe that as a mission. You're going to have those, and then you're going to have the mission itself be built out maybe from scratch, like pretty separate from like what that moment that we knew of it in a game, in a movie, in a TV, whatever it might be. We're going to see it expanded upon. And I think, again, like you can say it, and they did say it, and then you can also show it. And I'm just like massively impressed. I think the only thing, and to be honest with you, this is not so much an issue with me. I'm just kind of saying observations of the internet. So they talked about those 7 playable characters. Again, there was the rumor we talked about a few days ago ago, like more will be added. That was the rumor. They doubled down on 7 the last couple days, like in interviews. They've constantly said it. People seem pretty disappointed in that. I mean, look, as of right now, I'll take 7. This is a game where you play with you and one other person, max, right? You and just one other. And I think what you probably end up getting into with a game that is as like sophisticated as like it's a Lego game, okay? And obviously many Lego games have had like hundreds or at least dozens upon dozens of characters to play as, all right? I do understand it's different and they're going backwards, but at the same time the depth that is with these characters, whether it's like how they look, the suits, things like that, but their gadgets, how they actually act. I was talking about the animations, Batman having, say, dozens of takedown animations to do 50 characters and to give them all 25 takedown animations, that would take a very long time. So I'm not saying like I don't think there'll be additional characters, but I think, is it possible there's 7 at launch? Yeah. And then will they add afterwards? And does that make for some good DLC to give you like a 5-person pack? And it could be a villain pack. It could be a hero pack, all that stuff. They did say like no Superman. So this really might stick with Batman. It really might not explore like the beyond like DCU. Okay. It really might stick with Batman, which is fine. But I think, you have so many characters there, including multiple villains, you can do. But I get the frustration, but I also kind of see it from like it takes a long time to do this stuff, and if they're all done with such depth to them, to have 50 versus, I know 7 is a small number, but to have 50 versus 7, well, that might take like 6, 7, 8 times the amount of time, that it took them to do this. So I'm happy with what we got, and I'm just blown away. I really, really am. Like, again, I hoped this would happen, but if you told me a week ago, genuinely, you told me a week ago that this would be literally like another Arkham game, it would blow people's minds, it would be this kind of talk around town based off this game, that would be kind of surprising. I don't really know if we thought it would be this extreme in a good direction. And as I even said, a couple days ago, even separate from this game, by the way, like this is good. This is what they need to do, okay? You hit with Hogwarts Legacy. You had such an unbelievable seller, even if the game, maybe it's an 8 out of 10 type game, okay? It's not a perfect game, but it sold like bananas. And no game, I think, really from them can probably do that again, but you nailed it. Then you had Suicide Squad, and a lot of other mistakes have happened, Wonder Woman and all that jazz. So, you've made a lot of mistakes, but like, okay, if we can get this, like this can sell millions. This can do so well for them. And then, okay, what's next? Can you nail the next one? And it doesn't even have to be a big scale thing. Can you do it again? Can you have a couple DC games back to back to back that are hits commercially, critically? We love them, as fans. Like, can we do that? Because, like Hogwarts Legacy isn't going to be able to hold them up forever. And even the Wizarding World, like obviously I want 50 more of those type of games or games in the Wizarding World. But, okay, DC needs its time and we need to kind of get Mortal Kombat back on track, and there's a lot that WB Games needs to do, again, outside of the game for sure, but like this is a good sign, I think, for just the company, because they almost need a game like this. I mean, they probably need a game like Hogwarts Legacy that can sell 25 million and make them like $1 billion freaking dollars. They probably want that, but this is gonna sell just fine. And honestly, again, like you have to have a couple different turnarounds. It's not just the Wizarding World working. You got to turn other things around, and if this can start it on the DC front, that's fantastic, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.